So, we're going to do a little experiment today. Whatever I say, don't think. Answer it quick, and it'll only work if you do this. So just answer and don't and don't think. Name your first favorite animal. Okay. Now your second favorite animal. All right. Now your third favorite animal. All right, and remember what animals those are. So, the first animal, this is how you want the world to see you. And the second one is how other people actually perceive you. And the third one is what you are deep down. I myself, my one is a wolf for the first one. The second one is a husky, which is funny because that makes sense. Rather than being a strong, masculine wolf, I'm like a butterfly, social talking person with my close friend group. And the magpie, well, that's kind of cool. It's like a bird, seems independent, chill. But yeah, that kind of experiment is really fun just to see like who you are and maybe what other people think of you. You can Google it and then I don't know, AI will say something. But the point of this is to just get you thinking and how in reality right now you're none of those animals, you're a rat and you're stuck in the rat race. This is the unfortunate reality of a lot of people where we work and we're stuck in the same job and we rinse and repeat this cycle of getting paid and then spending all the money, and then before we know it we're back to where we were, working again, getting paid and spending the money again. We don't want to be a rat. No one wants to be a rat anymore. Like no one wants to stay in this cycle. We need to start breaking the cycle. So what you're going to do, you're going to stay in the rat race, you're going to work really hard, you're going to save the money you get instead of spending it. You're going to build an emergency fund so that once you have enough money between you and losing your job with about 3 months your salary, you can then move into the next stage of being a cat. Now cats they slouch around, they chill, they live freely because they get to do that. They don't have to stress about payments. Now, if you have an emergency fund, you're going to be a cat. You're not going to stress so much about the next paycheck because you can fall behind on the savings that you built. Over time, you can start investing a little bit here and there. And the problem with this being a cat is that you can become lazy, really, really lazy, and not try and aspire for more. We don't want that. We don't want to stay in the cat for too long. It is nice being a cat, but eventually we want to move up. We want to become a fox. Once you've entered the stage of becoming a fox, of having that emergency fund and investing little, you've entered the stage of thinking. Now, you can think about your future. You can scheme. You can look around during the night. You can wander around the streets, find little dustbins and trash, get all the little leftovers that everyone else has used, and you can start investing more into the stock market. And the scraps that you collect over time will turn into treasure. Once you have treasure, you can start thinking about your future. Do you want to take a holiday? Do you want to get a property? Do you want to get a new car? Do you want to have a retirement plan? Do you want to even start a business? This all happens because you're active. You're safeguarding your future. You have an emergency fund. You're investing. You're putting whatever little scrap you can into that investment, and you keep building and building up your territory, your little inner wealth. You Once you start executing your vision, your plan, you can turn into whatever animal you want. Whether that be a dog, being happy or whatever. It can be hamster, someone's little pet. You could turn into a monkey, go exploring and jumping trees in the wilderness. You can become a shark, like an entrepreneur, start investing in businesses. Do whatever you want. You just have to want it. You could even go back to being a rat. Totally up to you. Or you could be like a wanderer. You just have to have a plan and you have to stick to that plan. And the biggest thing between you and becoming the animal you want is how much you spend every month. If you cut your costs of spending dramatically, you have room to breathe to build up your treasure. So whatever you do every month, be aware of tapping your card or buying stuff online. Just make sure you're self-conscious about everything you do so that you can build wealth and become whatever animal you want. Work towards the future you want. And if one day that future doesn't happen and you lose the ability to reach the dream that you want, it's okay. You can just draft up another plan and strive towards it. I always wanted to get into the games industry, but I struggled for a long time. I spent 3 years applying for jobs, trying to break into it, and I only landed 2 interviews. I said to myself, do I really want it? And then I thought, no, I don't. So I moved on. I moved on from it, and now I'm trying something new, something different, and that's totally okay. You just have to make the decision and accept your fate as it is, rather than just mindlessly trying to dwell towards it. And then when other people ask you, oh yeah, you said you're doing this, are you doing it? You just say, no, I'm not anymore. I changed my mind. I don't want to do it anymore. There's nothing wrong with saying that. So many relatives and people that I've come across, they ask me, oh, are you still trying to get into the games industry? I remember you saying that like years ago, because I haven't seen you in so many years. I'm like, no, moved on, doing this. And then I'm like, well, what are you doing? And then you get them to talk about yourself and it's over. You don't need to stress or worry. There's nothing humiliating about it. At that point in time, you thought it was a great idea. And now at this point, circumstances have changed. A couple years ago, it would have been a good market to get into before COVID. Now, for the games industry, I'm sure it's still possible, but I've mentally moved on from there. So that's just an example of life. And yeah, if you have a plan, try go for it. If things change along the way, that's totally okay. Just have a plan and don't mindlessly float into the abyss. Otherwise, you would just become a rat again. I've learned that there's various ways of making more income rather than just like having one job. But when you do work and you do have a job, that's active income. That's you going out of your way, physically doing something and getting income out of it. So working in like a coffee shop or grocery store or office job, you're actively standing and sitting, picking up items, clicking the keyboard, doing tasks. You're active, and at the end of the month you get a paycheck out of it. And then there's passive. This is investing into the stock market, whether it's in low index funds or stocks itself. You're passively over time making income. Then there's something in between, which could be YouTube or social media, where I'm actively preparing content and then deploying it at a later date. This could be anything else, with like streaming as well, perhaps. But But you want to try and experiment, see what you like. You can do all three. You can do two. You could even just stay one. But hopefully, if you're just doing one, which is the active, working a job, hopefully you have a good paying job to do that. Otherwise, it would be really difficult. And trying to diversify the work that you do and labor, I think it's a good idea to try it especially when you're young, just to see if you can make anything of it. It's all trial and error at the end of the day. And if you're successful in one department, you can just pursue that department if you enjoy it. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people don't want to be in the rat race. They just want to be in a place where they have an anchor, a place of being, and they have a lot of sense of freedom where they don't have to stress about working so much. They have leisure, go on holiday whenever they wish, and to do that, well, that just sounds like being a wealthy individual. And wealthy people, they didn't sit around and do nothing. They worked at it. Apart from the people that inherited the wealth, the other people that made it, they worked really hard. Every day they put in the effort, and they reap what they sow. You got to do the same. We have to do the same. We have to work hard. We have to put in our energy, try and get results out of it. Try and get treasure out of it. Because future you will thank you for it. And you don't want to slouch and be lazy. I always thought I'd be in the white collar industry, just sitting down, relaxing, pressing buttons on my keyboard, doing simple, easy tasks, and getting a good salary out of it. Well, after COVID and then AI, I think that ship has sailed far away. The boundary is incredibly difficult, and the only thing I have at the back of my bone is hospitality, which is what I'm currently working in. And you know what? In this day and age, it may be the worst job ever, but at least it's stable. And with that, I think to myself of getting into the blue collar industry, because that will also be very stable. And I don't want to get the job I like and then find out a couple months later that I'm getting laid off, because a lot of jobs in the games industry are unstable. Depending on your seniority or level, your position isn't guaranteed. And if that's the case, what's the point? What's the point of hopping job to unemployment, trying to get stay in the games industry? At that point, I'd rather make my own game in my own time as a hobby, rather than working for someone else to make a game for a company that is for someone else, rather than myself. So yeah, I thought quite long about it. The games industry, it was a dream of mine, but sadly things have changed, and I got to move on. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm working hard in the hospitality industry, which is horrid, but you just gotta think to yourself when you're doing those closing shifts, like, you just gotta live in the moment and just enjoy it. Enjoy the horribleness of it. Like, oh, this is so bad. I'm so short-staffed, and there's so many customers. Oh, this is so bad. But you know what? It's also great. You just got to turn yourself into a crazy person when you're on shift, and just get through the shift. Because once it's over, that shift, you feel great that it's over, and you just want to go home. And that's the mental gymnastics you have to put yourself through. And knowing that, you don't want to stay in the rat race, which is what that is. Staying in that job, doing the same thing over and over again, replying to horrible customers that just want their sandwich or coffee or whatever, and they expect it to be made in 30 seconds rather than 2 minutes. You have to fight. You have to try and get out by working really hard, doing your job, and then try and network with other people to try and get into a different industry. Message whoever you need to message, whether that's on Instagram, Facebook, X. Message all the people you can that are in the industry. Tell them, look, blah blah blah, I'm trying to get in this job, blah blah. Do you have any spots available? Because applying online for jobs feels so pointless. There are so many jobs out there that just feel like they're fake, and no one replies to you. You just gotta keep grinding and keep working hard and stay strong. And at the same time, when you can, enjoy yourself and live in the moment. You gotta do both, especially when you're in your 20s. It's a long day, I know, but you can find and build the life you want. Bear in mind, everything I've said about rat, cat, fox, and then the animal you want, this is gonna take a lot of time. This isn't a 1 month thing where you turn your life around and suddenly you're a millionaire. This is essentially your life and the way you have to plan it and think it. Your entire 20s and 30s and 40s, you have to think about what it is, the goal and the path you want, and work it. Otherwise, you don't have a plan. You may do okay, you may not. It's guaranteed to not go perfect if you're not thinking about the future. So yeah, try and be patient and don't stress so much about the world, because you have a plan and it's going to be okay. If you have a God, use that God. That God's going to help you. That the God you have, if you believe in God, he's going to get you through the grim days. He's going to be the one to pat you on the back and say, listen son, it's okay, don't worry about it. If you don't, find something, find family member, someone you care about and you don't want to disappoint them. You just gotta push yourself and keep yourself and build yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate the support. Yeah, see you in the next one.